If you're a veteran and qualify for aid and attendance, it starts at $2,229 a month. If you are the surviving spouse of a veteran, it's $1,432 a month. And if you're a veteran married to another veteran, it's $3,536 a month. So that's huge. That is going to make the difference if someone is going to be able to afford assisted living or not. Welcome to Aging in Style, the podcast dedicated to celebrating aging and what it takes to do it well. I'm Lori Williams. I'm a certified senior advisor and senior housing expert. In each episode, you'll learn stories of older adults who are thriving in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and in some cases in their hundreds. Whether you're an older adult or the child of an older adult, this podcast is filled with insightful resources, organizations that are doing incredible work, and stories that will inspire you to volunteer, learn, and who knows, maybe even skydive in your golden years. Hi, welcome to Aging in Style. We are, again, doing our Ask Lori series that has been very popular. And Anna Xavier, my amazing podcast producer, I know I always introduce her that way, but she really is amazing. So she is here with us today, and she's going to be asking the questions that people are asking us. Welcome, Anna.
Hi, Lori. Thank you for having me. We have a lot of listener questions regarding the Veterans Aid and Attendance Program. So basically, who qualifies? What does it pay for? What requirements does it have? Just go through the whole list.
Okay. VA is a little bit complicated because there's several different programs out there. So the aid and attendance is for someone who they have a need, they need help. They call it activities of daily living. And there's also some certain requirements that go along with it. So usually when I'm talking to someone and we're trying to figure out how they're going to afford senior living, we get into the whole VA story. So it's kind of like if they're on, some people are 100% disabled and they're receiving income from the VA, or they may be, different percentages of disability where they've received some benefit. But the one program people always want to know about is the VA Aid and Attendance Program. And like I said, that one, it has certain requirements, and you have to have served during eligible periods of war. So it's World War II, Korean conflict, Vietnam, and there's certain dates. You can find all of it online or through Patriot Angels is a company that does all of this as well. But you have to have a need for it. So it's needs based. And then there's a financial basis too. So there's requirements like it must meet income and an asset criteria that's been established by the VA. So it's one of those things that gets a little complex. So I always refer people on to someone who works with the VA. There's all this paperwork you have to send in. It has to be perfectly every I dotted, T crossed, and it can take a while to get it. So it could take 6 months. It could take longer. It does pay back retroactively. So say someone had a need, they qualified, they moved into assisted living. It's going to take a while to get it approved, and then it will pay back and they will get the money to pay for their assisted living.
Are there any age requirements?
It's really not based on their age. It's more going to be based on, actually, they must be 65 or older, but it's going to also be based really on the eligible periods of war that they served in. So, and then I can tell you this because I've had this question a lot. National Guard is not considered one because my dad was National Guard, but National Guard is not going to be, it has to be Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. It has to be one of those. And someone asked me the other day about Coast Guard, and I don't think Coast Guard is covered.
So do you know if there are any senior housing agreements in place with the VA program?
Actually, no, because the VA isn't going to pay the senior living or assisted living place. It's going to pay the person. So they're going to get the income to their account. So yes, the assisted livings are going to take it, of course, because that's a way that someone's able to afford to live there. So we always look at, when we're talking to someone about moving to assisted living, say it's, $5,000 a month, how are they going to afford this? We're looking at their Social Security and pension income, long-term care insurance, that they have that. And then the VA is the other thing we're always excited that someone has, because there's an amount that, like, for surviving widow, it pays out really well, and it changes each year.
Oh, okay. So how does that work?
So with the VA, it's called the VA Aid and Attendance Benefit. And so it's going to be based on if there's a need, and then also the wartime service dates. And so I think you asked earlier about how they qualified. So World War II would be December 7th, 1941 to December 31st, 1946. The Korean War, June 27th, 1950 to January 31st, 1955. And then the Vietnam War is a little different. It's August 5th, 1964 to May 7th, 1975, but they say boots on the ground begins 1955. So this is all like information we will share with you, but like I said, contacting someone like Patriot Angels can definitely help you. It even goes into the Persian Gulf War, which is August 2nd, 1990 to December 31st, 2026. Interesting.
Would you mind sharing how much they would pay?
So the pension amounts, this is where, people get very excited when I tell them how much. So if you're a veteran and qualify for aid and attendance, it starts at $2,229 a month. If you are the surviving spouse of a veteran, it's $1,432 a month. And if you're a veteran married to another veteran, it's $3,536 a month. So that's huge. That is going to make the difference if someone is going to be able to afford assisted living or not.
Do you know if they have any veteran dedicated spaces, like specifically for them?
There is, like the VA has some of their own places. So I believe there's one in Bonham, Texas. I think that's the closest, which I think they do like assisted living and memory care. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've had people tell me that they were on a waiting list to get into that one. So, and I want to say there may be one like in the Fort Worth area as well. But again, I don't know a whole lot about that because that's a specific for veterans. The other thing, though, that I just learned about, I think it was maybe like a year and a half ago, but I'm seeing more and more home care agencies that are partnering with this. So it's, if you're a home care agency or personal assistant service, which is non-medical, so like you're hiring someone to come to your house to help you with bathing, dressing, housekeeping, take you to the doctor, those types of things, you might qualify for this. So I had my friend who owns a home care agency. His name is Kevin Jones, and we've had him on the podcast before too. But he's the one who first told me about this. So he has like partnered, or he's like, I think it's a contractor. He's considered a contractor with the VA. And there's like a little series of things you go through, but you request an in-home respite care service. That's how you ask for it. So it's in-home respite care and homemaker home health aid services. And so you do this through the VA. I believe you have to be on the Veterans Healthcare System, and I forget what it's called, but he said it's very easy to sign up for it. And then it takes about 3 weeks to get approval. But he's had some people who are veterans who are getting like 30 hours a week of home care, and it's completely paid for by the VA. And I had never heard of this until, like I said, about a year and a half ago. And I'm seeing more and more home care agencies advertise that they now are contractors with the VA and can offer this program. So that's amazing. That's life-changing for people as well. So that's bringing them care in their home so they can stay there safely, or even coming to, if they're in independent living and need a little extra care.
That's incredible. Okay, so we were talking about a lot of like what people need to do in order to qualify. So maybe we want to talk about a little bit of misconceptions that people have about what you can pay for and what you can do with it. Gosh.
Probably people think that they can just get it and it'll pay for wherever they're going for senior living, which is not the case. It's typically assisted living, and you have to have a need. It's needs-based. Second one would be that, that they can get it quickly. It's not a quick process to get it. And probably the third misconception would be, say your mom was married to your dad and your dad was a veteran and they divorced. If neither one remarried, your mom can still get it. So now, however, if they remarried, then, all bets are off. But that's, we've run into that before where someone was able to get the aid and attendance benefit. They'd been married, say 30 years, divorced, then he passed, and then the mom needed it and she was able to get it.
That's so helpful, especially, knowing that someone's mom or wife can qualify. That's really incredible. So thank you for sharing that, Lori. I don't think that many people understand the VA attendance program, myself included. So this was such a quick introduction and such a thorough one. So I really, really appreciate you. And I know that people will definitely look more into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Anna. And I agree with that because, some of this stuff I'm just, I think about it every day. So it's not new to me. And I think it's good to have these questions and be able to take a minute to step back and explain it and how it works. So we definitely appreciate your questions and hope you continue to send them in. So thank you, Anna, as always. And be sure to share this with your friends and family and go and subscribe to our podcast so you never, ever miss an episode. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.